Alright, I hope everybody's doing alright. So here's what I'm making tonight. I got some butterfly pork chops, and then I'm going to have mashed potatoes and make country gravy for the chops and the potatoes. And then I got some sweet corn, and they were sold out of rolls, so I'm going to make a slice of bread and butter. These pork chops, I like getting the butterfly chops because there's less fat in them, and you can actually cut these in half. So depending, this can either feed 2 or 4 people depending on how hungry you are. This is really filling because of the potatoes and the gravy. So I just usually eat 1/2 of a butterfly. I'll eat like half of one. And they're really good and they're cheap. This whole pack was $3. So this meal I'm gonna have $3. The gravy was $1, so there's 4, 5 potatoes are $1. These were about 69 cents, so 3, 4, 5, under 3, 4, 5, under $6. I've got a meal that will feed at least 2 people, and like I said, depending on how hungry you are, possibly 4. But these butterfly chops are the only way to go, and they're not really expensive. They're pretty much as cheap as the other chops. I don't think there's a lot of difference in price, but anyway, so let's get started on it. Alright, so you want to get your skillet really hot, because what you're going to want to do is sear the pork so that it'll sear the moisture inside. So you're going to want to leave it on this side until it releases. Just kind of check it periodically and see if it releases from the skillet. And what I mean by releases, it's not stuck to the skillet anywhere. It'll take a couple minutes, but you probably want it to be a decent golden brown color when you flip it. So we'll give it just a minute and then I'll flip it and show you what I mean. Alright, it's been on the first side for, I don't know, a couple minutes, not real long. It's released, it's not sticking, so. And that's about what you want right there. So, looks really pretty. And I know I always harp on this, but I'll say it on every video probably. I always keep my handles turned to the inside because I used to have, my kids were small and I didn't want them grabbing the handle and hurting themselves, spilling something. Now I've got doggies that tend to like seeing what I'm doing up here, so I move the handle so they can accidentally hit those and get hurt, knocking something hot off on themselves. I want to make sure these are all seared. Okay, and the next thing that I do is I'll get some water. Some people might not do this. This is just the way I do it. Put a little water in there, cover them up, and reduce the heat just a little bit. And then just kind of let it go. So, and then here in about 10 minutes or so, we'll check, make sure it's cooked through, and then I'll start on the rest of the stuff. It smells so good in here right now. It's amazing. Alright, I'll be back here in just a second. Alright, now, see that water steamed off of there, which is actually what I want, and I'll show you why in a minute. And it's almost ready to cut loose here. One little spot. There it went. take a look at the other side. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. Alright, so now we've got that done. So what I'm going to do for just a minute is I'm going to take this off of the heat. I'm going to take this pork chop out of this skillet and let it set over here out of the way for just a second. And I'm going to start on the mashed potatoes real quick, which won't take very long. So, mashed potatoes. What do we got? Mashed potatoes. Always just go by, I mean, it's real easy. 2 cups of water. Okay, boom. That's all we need, 2 cups of water. So let me get 2 cups of water real quick. There's 1. There's 2. This is so easy, guys. And what we're going to do is crank this up to high. We're going to get this boiling, put the lid on it. It'll make the water boil a whole lot faster. And then once the water boils, we take the water off of the heat and stir the mashed potatoes in. And then cover them back up and just leave them alone for a few minutes. And we can get going on the gravy, which that's when I'm going to utilize that skillet again. Notice I haven't washed anything out of that skillet. I like that. I call that the goodies. That's the leftovers from the pork, and I'm going to utilize that with the gravy. It flavors the gravy really nicely. You can get plain white gravy. I get country gravy just because I like it that way anyways, but you can get plain white gravy and pepper it, or whatever you want to do to it to flavor it. So that's getting hot. So we'll let that boil and come back in a minute and get some more of this ready for dinner.